Thank you for joining us for the fifth session in the online marketing webinar series using Adobe Spark to market your business. My name is David Yates from UT Extension, and I will be your instructor today. We greatly appreciate the support provided by the USDA, National Institute of Food and Agriculture, and the Southern Risk Management Education Center to help make this series possible. To help report the impact of this webinar to these agencies, I ask that you complete a very brief online evaluation of the session at the end. A link to the evaluation was included in the email with the link to join the session. We will also post this on the last slide of today's presentation. A few housekeeping items. Please leave your microphone on mute and video off during the session. This will be posted online in the event you would like to view it again or to share it with someone else. We know that people with written goals are significantly more successful than people without. I want to encourage you to jot down some goals about how you can use this information during the session today. Now, if there's no more questions, let's dive into using Adobe Spark to market your business. I would first like to start and ask, has anyone ever used or heard of Adobe Spark? Spark is a repackaged Adobe product from 3 different previous Adobe products. One of those was Adobe Post, and that's used for social media graphics. So, like you pick a photo, add text, and then some design filters. The second product was Adobe Page, and it turns words and images into magazine-style web stories. In today's session, we're not going to dive into either of those two, but we're going to focus on Adobe Video. It's a component of Spark that can be found either on the website or going to the individual app to be able to download. And when we look at apps with these Adobe products, each of those individual products are an individual app. To start with, let's look at how we come and share our marketing impacts of our small business. Advertisements have been a time and true tested form of sharing marketing with consumers. We have advertisements in newspapers to magazines to different items such as that. We also have the use of billboards has become more and more popular. Depending on your location, a billboard may be a very inexpensive but a very big use of marketing your small business, and again, picking that location. One of the most effective forms of sharing our marketing impacts is by word of mouth from our customers, from people telling each other, you need to go to this place or you need to check out what X farm is doing, has a lot of credibility to it. But in today's world, social media has come and made a huge leap into how we share our marketing impacts, and it does that very effectively, it does it very quickly, and it does it at a very low cost to you. Now, when we look at from a social media standpoint, my question to you, have you looked at using video within social media posts? So my next question to you is, how long is your attention span? And we think about in today's world, all the different things that are here that really distract us? Well, when we look at some research, the average attention span for a goldfish is 9 seconds. Just a little goldfish floating around in a bowl. But people generally lose their concentration after only 8 seconds. And again, our environment has really shortened our attention span. This is where being able to create short videos that tell your story, show the impact that you want to have, they really can come in and keep a person's attention for those 8 seconds, or hopefully even a little bit longer. So what is Adobe Spark? Well, it's a fairly new program, and I have free. And what has happened lately is that Adobe Spark has taken a little bit of a change, and now there will be 2 versions of it. But let's talk about the free part of it. It's an online and it's a mobile graphic design app. Now you can come in, and if you have an Apple device, either an iPhone or an iPad, you can go to the Apple App Store and you can download for free the apps for Adobe Spark. And as I mentioned before, from the app side of it, Adobe Spark is divided into an app for each part that it does. So if you go and download the Adobe Video, that's what we'll be referring to today. In the information that we've looked at, Adobe has mentioned that they would have this available for the Android devices. As of now, those are not available, but that is something you could always go back and check on later. But if you were using an Android device, you still can come back and go to the website that is spark.adobe.com, and you'll be able to get all of the features and benefits from the app version on a web version of it. Now, what Adobe Spark does, it allows you to create free short videos with using still images, or you can actually insert video images into it. You can add some text, and it has royalty-free music that you can have to play with that. It makes a very nice visual package when you look at this. So Adobe Spark as a whole package, we talk about the post app, and that's creating those posts for social media. We have the graphics that's on the web version of it. We have the page, and that's about creating those web stories in that magazine style. And then the animated videos, which is the Spark video, and that is today's main topic. Now, in the change that Adobe has made, there is now a free and a premium version. I would suggest that you start out with the free. It's a great starting point. It works on your desktop or laptop. It'll work on your iPhone. It'll work on your iPad. It'll do all of that stuff. Works very easy to use, simple. It also lets you sync your projects across devices. So when you come in and you use your account, anything that you create on your iPhone would then be able to transfer automatically to your desktop. So it allows you maybe to start a project on one device and you can finish it on the other. Now the premium version, you pay $9.95 a month, for $99.99 a year. Now, it's going to allow you to replace the Adobe Spark logo, which it puts on the end of the free version. You can then replace that with your own logo. So it allows you some more branding options, and that's going to include some graphics, being able to put in your branded colors and fonts and create some templates. So it customizes that more for you. That's what your $9.99 a month will buy you. But again, start out with the free version. If you see that you're going to use this a lot, you can then come in and upgrade to the premium version, and you're not going to lose anything that you have already created. When you look at Adobe Spark Video I'm comparing an iPad point of view, and the iPad point of view and the iPhone point of view are going to be the same. It's just the size of your screen. And you compare that to the web browser view, they're going to be very, very similar. Using one versus the other, I am one that can go back and forth very easily and use that. And that's why it's nice when you have that Adobe account and you can log in and let these projects sync across devices. Again, letting you start on one and maybe finish on another. Now, when you come in and Adobe's going to ask you to log in, it requires this. You can come in and there's a button that will allow you to come in and log in using your Facebook credentials. You can also come in and use your Google credentials. Now, either of those two, I would caution you about that, because when we come in and we start to share credentials across platforms and different things, that does provide a potential security risk. So my suggestion would be is that you can come in and you can create and then use an Adobe ID, and that's free to do. Your Adobe ID will be an email address and then a password that you create that works with Adobe. Again, from a security standpoint, going in and taking that extra moment to do that will protect your other sources that you have your information from, such as Facebook and Google. Now, I have a video that I would like to show you right now. This is a introduction to Adobe Spark, and it talks about how to use Spark Video in a lot of different ways. And this is not centered just toward agriculture, but it has a lot of education and small businesses that are featured here. You'll also see that it's going to show Adobe Spark Video used on different platforms, such as a smartphone, an iPad, and a desktop computer. So let's sit back and look at our meeting Adobe Spark. And if you would like to view that video again, you can go to the Adobe Spark webpage, and that is available. And again, replay that all the time. A second video that is available within the Adobe Spark app or on the website is a very quick and fast-paced video tutorial. It's not going to show you point by point of everything to use, the features within Adobe Spark, but just a very quick and rapid overview of it. This is available at any point that you have, and you can click on this and it will play this video. And let's look at it. So very fast paced, but gives you a lot of the ideas and just a very quick overview of some things that Spark Video can do. So now let's dive into it and take a look at some of the specific things in it. When you first come in and launch Adobe Spark, whether that be through the website or through the app, you're going to need to log in. And again, logging in with your Adobe ID would be the recommended way to do that, just from a safety and security standpoint. When you come to this main Adobe screen, I'm going to be showing this demo from a iPad point of view. So your iPad and your iPhone point of view are going to be extremely similar. It's basically screen size would be your difference. You can also look at this from a web browser point of view, and it's going to be almost identical, except of course your screen will be bigger. The first place that you're going to come to is a start screen. You're going to come in and it will have a list of all the projects that have synced up to your account. Again, one of the nice things about that is that if you have started a project on one device and you wanted to work on it some more on another device, by logging into that one account with internet access, it will download those projects for you. So you can tap on one of those and start to work on it from there. You can also come in and you have a button on the lower left-hand side that says Inspiration. And these are basically starting points and examples to come in and use about Adobe Spark. And they're like fill in the blank examples. How well that would work with an agricultural type business is probably not as much, but to think about, it can give you some ideas. The middle button, or excuse me, the right hand side of the button will be the My Videos, and that's to view files that you have in your account. Those are typically already going to be there in the background for you to look at. But if they didn't show all of them, you can tap on that and it would show you that. The middle of the screen is going to be the red plus sign button, and that's what you're going to click on or tap to start a new project. So that's what we'll do in our example. When you click on that, you're going to come up and Adobe Spark Video is going to ask you, well, what's your story about? And it's just giving it a title. Now, again, it's walking you step by step through this process. You can say, no, I just want to skip this. That's what I would typically do. And then we come up to the point that says, pick a template to start with, or do you want to do something from scratch? And those templates, again, are like the inspiration. They're fill in the blank type things. There's not a lot of templates that Spark Video has available. So I would suggest let's just start from scratch. And we'll click or tap on that, and it comes up and it's going to give us our first screen that we have. At the top of the screen, you'll see a home icon that's on the left. In the center, you're going to have your navigation buttons. These have changed to where it has added one, and I will explain that later on in our slide set. And we'll go through what each of those four are going to be like. If you come down the screen, you're going to see a red microphone button, and that's going to allow you to record voiceovers. So if you had a slide, and it could either be a photo, or it could be video, or it could be text, and you want your voice or someone else's voice to say, be sure and join us, XXXX. You could have that to come over on that part of the video. If you look at the same area where that red microphone button is, look to the right, there is a gray button that is the slide length button. And as a default, each slide will display for 2 seconds. In Adobe Spark Video, a slide will be displayed from 1 up to 10 seconds. And this goes back to the point we've talked about, the attention span of people. We're creating a video that's very short. These are not meant to be long, epic movies, but very short commercials. Then look down to the bottom left of the page. You're going to have a play preview button. You can click on that at any time, and it will preview what you have created so far in your Adobe Spark. So that may be 1 slide, or it may be 10 slides. On the right-hand side at the bottom, you have an Add Slide button. It's just a large plus sign. So that allows you to create an additional slide. And you can think of Spark Video in one way like building a PowerPoint template. But we're going to make this animated, and it's actually going to create it as a video at the end. So some of the principles are the same, but your results are going to be a lot different. Then at the bottom in the center of the screen, if you look, each time that you create a slide, it will pop those in order from left to right on the screen. If you tap and hold any of those slides, you can reorder those. So the last slide you make may be the one that you want to be the first slide. If you tap and hold that, you can drag it over and drop it in to the place and location that you would like it to be. Now, let's look at our navigation buttons that are going to be at the top of the screen. The first one that you'll have is called Layout. And layout is just how things are going to be organized on the screen. You have 4 different layout screens that you have: the full screen and a thing. And a thing refers to either a place, a box, or a place where video could be, text could be, a photo that you have already taken and that is saved on your device, or it could be an icon. And think of an icon like clip art. So when you come in and you start to create a slide, we look at the layout first and what do we want to put in and where will it appear on that particular slide. The second navigation button is called Themes. And a theme is what it says. It's a selection of background and transitions that are automatically packaged together. There are 32 different theme selections that are built into Spark Video for you. And you can just click on one. And if you have already developed a few of those slides, you can then select that theme and then click the preview button down at the bottom left, and it will show you what that would look like. So it's real easy to change that theme at the end. Now, one of the things that we have with our themes is that we can customize the theme. So if you look in the upper third of the screen on the right, there is a customized theme that you can click or tap on. And what that will open up is one of two different screens, and I have those side by side listed here. When you pick on a theme first and click Customize, you will then have the option to look at changing the colors. And you can change the background color, the icon color, the main text, and the secondary text. And by selecting each of those items, you can then click on the little circle and it gives you the rainbow of colors that you can pick from. If you come in and you look at the fonts side to it, you'll see that for your text font, there's a nice variety of different fonts that you can pick from. And again, fonts relate a lot of the character and feel just like colors. So those two things are going to work hand in hand with each other. The new button that has been added to Spark Video is a Resize Navigation. This is brand new, just been out for a little bit, and it's going to allow you to choose the display format of the video. It can either be in widescreen format or a square format. And this comes back and we look at where do you think this would be viewed at more? What type of device? Whether it's a mobile device or is it going to be on the computer screen? Again, a computer screen, that widescreen offers that panoramic type view to where a square is a more tighter view of it. And on smaller screen mobile devices, that may work better. Again, two different video formats. Again, look at that, where you think it will be used at the most, and then you can take your project and change it from one to the other and see, well, what plays the best for you. The last navigation button that we have up at the top is music. There are 37 different royalty-free music selections that you can pick from. And they're categorized. If you're not sure what you think they are, you can select, either tap or click on any of those, and then you have a preview button, and it will preview what this is going to be. Very nice, easy to use, and they will automatically size themselves, the length of it, based on how long that your slideshow is. Now, you can upload music from your iPad, your iPhone, or your computer. It allows you to do that, and it saves it within that Adobe account. But what we caution you about is not to use copyrighted music on your Adobe Spark videos. Using copyrighted music is a quick way to get your video taken down from your different social media uh, formats, such as Facebook, YouTube, etc. Uh, they take that very seriously, and people get those kind of things a lot. You're allowed to use maybe a few seconds, but again, our suggestion, look at the royalty-free music first, and then if that's not fitting your bill, you can go online and there's a number of royalty-free music sites that you can go to, and you can download music that you can use that's appropriate for the content that you're creating. Now, when you finish your project, what happens? Well, does it just sit at Adobe Spark? Well, no. You can take and you can download these video files, and this can either be from your mobile devices or on the website. You can come in and you can actually download the entire file. Also built within Adobe Spark Video is the ability of being able to come in and share these directly to Facebook and to Twitter. Now, sometimes that's going to work very easy, and sometimes it may be a little bit more difficult. So something to look at and evaluate. You may find that you have to download it, and then you would re-upload it back into that social media platform that you're going to use. That also can give you some advantages there too, that you could add more tags, maybe a better description, different material to go with it. So again, look at how you can use it, but your finished product can be downloaded, or in some cases, share it directly. Now, when we're looking at using Adobe Spark, I always say you need to have a plan. And before we create any type of video, and that's whether it's with Adobe Spark or if it was just using a video camera or even a smartphone to come in, is to have a plan of what you want to do with this video. You know, what is it that you really want to convey? You know, is it a video just to have a video? Or what is that message? And this comes back to our marketing points. Second is that when we're creating a video, is that what is that take-home message that you want the consumer to take home with them? What do you want them to be? Is it, oh, well, I want you to feel good about my products. You know, that's sort of hard to measure too. I think most importantly is, what is the call to action? When we're looking at any type of marketing material, and that's whether it's an advertisement, a billboard, a video, a television commercial, etc., that call to action is really the most important part, is thinking, what do you want that consumer to do when they look at this, when they view it? Well, I want them to come to our farm. I want them to come to our pumpkin patch. I want them to come to our pick your own strawberries. What is it that you want them to do? And we need to be specific about that. You know, please visit us, you know, and give them that information, give them a way to contact you. And then the last thing in having a plan is that as we come in and we create and we make a video, doesn't matter where we're making it from, I would suggest using a storyboard. And that's just to map out, what do you want your video to be. Now, there's a lot of creative people that can do all of that right in their mind and do it as they're creating it. And those are very few and far between. Most people need to at least sketch out what they're doing. I would recommend, you know, as simple as coming to a back of a napkin and sketch out a few points, or coming in, on a sheet of paper and writing it out, to going as elaborate as creating storyboards, and that could be on paper or it could be on poster board, and to map out sequence for sequence of what you want to do. I want to start out with the picture of the child picking strawberries, to a picture of a child eating a strawberry, to having my information about where to contact us on social media, etc. Again, thinking about what that story is and planning it out. Again, we're not making an epic movie. We're making a very short, 10 to 30-second video / commercial. The attention span of people is short, so we need to make everything that we have in it count. What I would like to leave you today is with some tips in making better video. And this is not just for Adobe Spark video, but just video in general. And point number one is to think in shots, is that things are in short, concise bits and pieces. And if you look at commercials that are on television today, you look at your local news that's on television, we don't have just a camera pointing to one person or to one thing and it just runs. It moves around and it gives the illusion of motion. And that's one thing that Adobe Spark Video can do for us. It can take those still photographs and make it into motion. And again, keeping the attention span. Point number two is don't shoot until you see the whites of their eyes. Read that to be is that you need to get in close. Having those wide, big shots, people can't figure out from video what they need to focus on. So as we're creating and shooting the video, we need to make sure that we're focused on the actual thing that we're wanting to show. So we get in close. We want to keep our shots under 10 seconds long. Again, think about what Spark Video is doing. What's the maximum point that you can have a video to show? 10 seconds. So you see the correlation between those two. Number four is zooming with your feet. A lot of phones, iPads, digital cameras have a lot of this digital zoom, and sometimes that works, but a lot of times you're going to get those pixelated images and they're not going to be as super clear as you need them. So let's use the zoom that we have with our feet and actually get in close. Standing still to stop fidgeting, the no zooming, is that when we're actually shooting and making the video, that we want to be still. Either that's with our body, standing as still as we can, or getting a tripod. Tripods are fairly inexpensive, and you can buy attachments that can, if you have a smartphone, iPad type device, you can buy attachments that will mount onto that tripod and keep it all nice, level, and steady. Number six is keeping the light behind you. When we have the light looking at people and they're in the shadows, we can't see that person's face. The person or the items that we're shooting need to be well lit. So looking at where the light is with you, you may need to turn to a different direction. The other thing to keep in mind about light is that shooting video in the middle of the day when the sun is the highest, if it's outside, is actually really not flattering, and it's not great lighting for you. The first few hours in the morning when the sun is low and the last few hours in the evening as the sun is setting, that will give you some of the better outdoor lighting that you'll have. Again, indoor, you can come in, you can turn lights on, you can use arranged lighting in the most flattering way for you. But again, light is extremely important in video and photography. If your camera has all of these digital effects, probably turn those off. There may be a few cases where that would be appropriate, but most of the time having those off. Let's focus on what interests you, what is the real focus of the video. And that's what we need to focus on, not all of this other random, and we'll refer to it as noise. It's all those other things out. If we're focusing on a person, let's focus on the person, not all the crowd of other people around he or she. Looking at those amateurish type titles, again, that depends on who your market is. You know, sometimes those are appropriate, but most of the time we're looking at things a little bit more professional. So sometimes, again, depending on the story that you're telling and the audience that you're telling it to. Number 10, keep your videos short. We've talked about keeping those shots 10 seconds or less, but the total overall video length. You know, think of how long a commercial is. A commercial on television is typically 30 seconds, and sometimes we have commercials that are 15 seconds. And again, looking at that attention span. If you're actually capturing the audio of people talking, using an external microphone is a lot of times needed and necessary to make sure it's clear. If you're going to do any of those voiceovers, being able to use an external microphone is a great thing. That could be with a headset that you have, like to do webinars. That can also be the headphones that you get in the earbuds that come with a lot of your mobile devices. They have a built-in microphone. So being able to plug that in and using that just to do your voiceovers can make a huge leap in quality of that audio. And then number 12 is that looking at that quality pledge about that we want to make quality video for your audience, and at the same time, how to get your point across. And then we're also not going to make anyone watch anything so crappy looking that you wouldn't watch it if someone voluntarily handed it to you and said, you know, to watch this. Again, it comes back into the quality standpoint of making something that not just you want to watch, but your audience would want to watch. So I would like to leave you today with seeing what ideas do you have for using Adobe Spark for your business, and to think how we can come in and create this. It may be using it exclusively on one social media channel or using it across multiple platforms. Can we use this as a video that maybe we take and we're doing an educational talk somewhere within a school, a community club or business? A lot of different ideas and things there. So as we end our webinar today, we do want to remind you that we have some Facebook 101 for direct farm marketers coming up. Those are going to start in the middle of November and go through December. And you can look at those locations that we have on the screen. Also, you can learn more about that by going to the Center for Profitable Ag site, and there's more information on the registration for that. And then again, we would ask you to come in and complete the session evaluation. That's going to be at tiny.utk.edu/webinar eval. Thank you for your time and attention today. We hope that you found this to be helpful and valuable to you, and look forward to having you join us again for another one of the online marketing webinar series.